Hello everyone, how are you all doing? This is Yix here at Magnet Crypto, back again with another video. In today's video, as per usual, we'll be doing an end of week market breakdown. So stick around and let's get this show on the road. Before we get started, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and like this video. I'm getting very close to reaching that milestone. And also, if you want to learn the fundamentals to crypto, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, link for that is in the description. I've got a course completely free. And also, if you want to join my private Telegram group where I give more daily, weekly TA, and link for that is also in the description. So with that out of the way, let's get straight into the market and of course get started with Bitcoin. Nothing much to report here. It's going along quite nicely. Since drawing this Fibonacci, you can see a clear low and a clear high. And we've just gone past this previous high. And there's only a little bit of sell side pressure here. And you see this massive wick over here, rejecting from the 618. So it's looking poised to continue on to the upside. It's only going to be a matter of time before it gets past the 59k level. And the next major target that I can see with the help of the Fibonacci is the 0.27 extension at 62 to 63,000. So next week potentially could be the week that you smash past these current levels and get to that level. I did say in my private Telegram group and in my last breakdown that BTC and Ethereum were ready to pop, and Ethereum was the one to actually break properly. So the previous high of 1900 was smashed, and even the wick at 2048 was broken, creating new all-time highs at 2144. So very, very bullish to see that, to see Ethereum finally break into the upside. Of course, we've got much more to go. The next major target is, in my opinion, is going to be close to 2500, which is the next big round number, 2500. So we'll see if it can continue the momentum in the next week. So those two are doing well. I think they're going to keep going. Let's have a quick look at ETH BTC. With this break to the upside, Ethereum is gaining some ground in the ETH BTC pairing. Still got a major resistance level in the way. If it gets past this, then there's going to be a lot of upside. You can see it's tried twice to do it, not with great effect, but you can see it's trying to break past. There could be a channel going on right here, so if that is the case, then we may be looking at some decent upside. How much? Potentially about 20% in this pairing. So let's see how that continues. It's looking good for Ethereum and BTC and the market in general, to be quite frank. With that out of the way, let's move to the next altcoin, which is MATIC. The MATIC is looking a bit bearish to me. You can see this high that it created. Now there's a lot of volatility going on, but generally we're seeing a downwards kind of direction. So you've got the wicks going down, and then although we had a massive wick, a lot of buy side pressure right here, the following week or this week there was a massive amount of sell side pressure pushing it down, it being unable to get past the previous high of 37 cents. So it's looking bearish in my opinion. I think it's more likely that's going to retest the support or the lower wick at 29.30 cents than it is to go to the upside. Now of course I could be wrong. If it manages to rally in the next week and go past the high of 38 cents, then I can see the next target being 43 cents, but then you can also see that the counter trend line pushing it back down. So I would say it's leaning more to the downside. It's leaning more to testing low support at 30 cents, 29 cents, and even potentially lower to 23 and 20 cents. we move to the daily time frame, maybe we can see a bit more. It's more likely that it's going to go down towards the 29% region. What I will say though, on the bullish side scenario, even though it looks quite bearish on the weekly, what I would say on the bullish side scenario is, now I don't know if you can spot this, but left shoulder, head and right shoulder. If that is the case, then of course this is a reversal signal. Then that would lead to a break to the upside towards that target of 43 cents. So the daily is painting a different picture to the weekly. So we're going to see very soon, I'm sure, which one will prevail. When it's uncertain like this, I would like to sit on the sidelines, because if it does go to the downside, then we've got, you know, a good 20% potentially more to go. So mixed perspective, mixed stories from the two time frames. As I said, I'd probably lean a bit more to the downside because the weekly normally has more accuracy, but at the same time with this, I think time will tell. Just keep an eye on it, see how it progresses in the following week, and then we can clearly see which one is going to win, the daily time frame or the weekly. Next, we will have a look at Origin Protocol. So it's quite clear, massive rejection on the weekly time frame, showing that the bears seems to be taken over at this point. Apart from that, you can't really see much apart from a massive rally and a lot of rejection. So we can't really tell whether it's going to reverse or the next week is going to lead to some further rallying to the upside. All I can say is from looking at this, it's more likely to start pushing down. So let's look at it from the daily perspective. From the daily perspective, it actually doesn't look too bad. It looks like it is some kind of descending flag structure, which is actually a bullish chart pattern. It's normally a small correction. This looks like a small flag, which is a small correction, but it's a bullish chart pattern. So this could be a small correction and then a break to the upside, somewhat of a measured move. So we could have something like this where it actually breaks to the upside towards the first extension of $2.31, then $2.73, and then $2.93, towards $3 essentially. So it actually looks rather bullish on the daily time frame, but of course we have to see that if it does break out from this chart pattern in the next few days. So I would say this move is imminent if it is going to break to the upside. Now if it breaks to the downside, you can see there's a trend line in play. So there could be a tap of the trend line at either the 0.5 level at $1.39 or the 0.618 level, which is $1.25. So there's two support levels, or potentially lower at the 786 at $1.05. So that is what I'm thinking on Origin Protocol. Next, we will have a look at ORN. So this looks a little bit more bearish than some of the other coins. You can see, of course, a high created and a rejection, massive rejection from that level. Now there is a decent amount of buy side pressure. You had a massive rejection from this low at $16, and since then it's been reversing. But on the weekly, we cannot see a sign of a reversal just yet. Now, of course, we need to see an actual bottom being created. Now, until we see a green candle, we cannot be sure of reversal just yet. So if we move to the daily time frame, we can potentially see some more details. Now on here, it does look like a bottom has been created at around $16 to $17, but of course we need to see some lower, or we need to see some higher highs being created and some higher lows. So some consolidation and a move to the upside. Something. Let's see if we can. Something like this to happen. Now maybe not the last move, but if we start to see some higher highs and high lows being created and then a test of the previous high, that would be a bullish sign. However, if we start to see that and then it is not able to close past this level, then I would definitely be more bearish that it's going to go further down, potentially down to this level of $11. So the next week we're going to see some more evidence of where it wants to go, whether it wants to continue going to the upside and break past, or whether it's going to fail to test this properly and go lower to the downside, break past this support level, and then head towards $11.45. So now we have Cake USDT. This is looking quite interesting to me. There's a lot of sell side pressure in the last 2 weeks. However, this candle might suggest it may close past this high, this resistance, this key level of $16. But at the moment, it's not able to close past. Every time it tries, it gets pushed way back down. Another thing, moving to the daily time frame, that is building a case for the bearish, is this potential head and shoulders formation that is forming. You can see the left shoulder, the head, but the right shoulder has not formed just yet. If it continues to form that and then break below the neckline, I drew a potential measurement which would be from the top of the head down to the neckline, and you would place this at the potential breakout point. So it could, if it does, form the head and shoulders chart pattern, then the lowest it could go is $12.60. However, to be sure, to have some more accuracy, you could half this measurement, and that would leave us to about $14.20. Now that is the bearish side. If this chart pattern fails and we see a rally to the upside, then we will need to see this level being broken, $19, $20, and then we would have to see at least a test of that as support and then carry on to the upside. But at the moment, it's looking more bearish than it is bullish, I would say. Next, we'll have a look at Perpetual token. Now, Perpetual token, which I've covered in the last video, there isn't much to go by from this pairing. All you can see is a bottom being created at $7.30 or 40 cents, and a lot of sell side pressure. So there was a massive amount of selling going on from $8.50 to about $11. So this isn't showing too much, except that we have a bottom and a lot of selling going on. If we move to the daily time frame, what I mentioned in the last market breakdown or the last cover is that this looks like a massive cup formation, and it may start to form a handle, which would be very, very bullish. If that is the case, then we could potentially measure a move of this proportion at the breakout. So it could go to about $13, or at least back to previous high of 11, and maybe a bit further than that. So let's keep an eye on this and see if it actually creates that handle, which would create a classic cup and handle formation. Now we have Injective Protocol, also covered in the last video. Now this, even though I think it's a strong project, when you take this massive rally into account, upon second look, or even third look, it's looking a bit bearish. I'm a bit worried that this may go to the downside. There's a lot of sell side pressure keeping it down, and since it created this bottom, it doesn't look like there's enough juice to push it forward towards the previous high and to break past it. So I'm thinking potentially we could have a further correction, an ABC correction, potentially down towards $10. If we move to the daily time frame, we can see a bit more. Now this looks like a descending channel. As I said, it doesn't look too strong. Now the bullish case would be this could be a potential descending flag, and if that is the case, then this could lead to a breakout to the upside, a test of the previous hour of $16.71, and then beyond. But I would say it's looking It's looking a little bit like it's exhausted and it needs to further correct to gain some more liquidity. I am still, full disclosure, I'm holding a small bag, so of course I want it to go to the upside, but from a TA point of view, it's looking like it wants to go down more than it wants to go up, and especially on the weekly time frame. As I said, you can see a lot of upside and only a little bit of a correction. So we'll see if it manages to break past the previous high, then of course the bulls will take control once again. But if it fails to get above this, and if this creates a lot of pressure to push it to the downside, then I think it's going to keep going lower towards $10 and potentially even further than that. Next we have Sushiswap. Now this is actually looking a bit bearish to me since this correction at around $21 after making a new high of $23. This correction doesn't seem to have found a bottom just yet. After these two candles, this is looking like a indecisive candle. It doesn't know whether to go up or down, and on top of that there isn't a lot of volume. So right now it's actually at a previous support level of $15, so it's the last support level it has on the weekly time frame. It doesn't look like it wants to hold, to be quite honest with you. It's not showing any sign of strong support. Unless something magical happens in the next few days, it's most likely to carry on going to the downside towards $11 first, and then there's more support at $10 if we look at it from the weekly time frame. So you can see from a daily time frame, this previous high when it first started is acting as a resistance. So it's tried to get past, it got rejected, and there isn't much support in this area. The next support is either at $7, $8, or this kind of area right here. You can see there's a lot of action even at $5. So to be honest, to me it looks like it wants to go further, especially in the weekly. It's not showing any sign of support. It's not showing a strong sign that it wants to rebound and go back on the upside. So I would say Sushi is more likely to go to the downside. As I said, the support levels. The major one could be the big round number of $10, but could even go further than that. So let's see. My conclusion with this is definitely bearish. Next we have AVAX or Avalanche. So this is actually looking bullish to me. So this is looking like a Penant formation, although it's not 100% bullish pattern, but the way it's looking with this correction and now it's coiling up in this pattern, it could potentially break to the upside and go towards $50. Now, of course, that would not be a straight move to the upside. We have $39, $40 first, and then higher towards $45, and then $50. That's the bullish case scenario, that this is a Penant and it's going to carry on the move prior to this and keep going to the upside. Now on the bearish side, if this breaks to the downside, then there isn't much support below this until we get to around $12. That's the next major support zone. We have from 13 down to $11. Apart from that, you can't really see much support. But as I said, it looks bullish to me on the weekly time frame. On the daily, it doesn't look too bullish because you can see it's created lower highs consecutively. So that's definitely not a good sign. And on this counter trend line, it's tested it several times. So again, a bit of a mixed signal from the daily compared to the weekly. But if I had to pick between daily and weekly time frame, I would always go for the weekly because it shows it's got more data and generally it is more accurate. So I would say let's see how this goes. If we see a break of this counter trend line and a decisive move, then we can say, okay, bulls on control. And if we see a break to the downside, a decisive break, then probably we're going to see further downside towards $13. For me, when it comes to TA, I'm not, I don't make a choice and stick to it. I see what the market's telling me. I wait for a break and more evidence to support where I think it's going to go. If it breaks to the downside and it goes against what I think is going to happen, then of course I would change my direction and, you know, trade with what the market's telling me. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to end this video just having a quick look with the altcoin dominance chart. This is the altcoin dominance charts over here, and this is showing the first time that we've broken past a long-term trend line that started back in 2018, the peak of the altcoin cycle, when altcoins had a 63% dominance of the market. So Bitcoin was down to 37%, and it's only just broken after 2-3 years of Bitcoin dominance. Now it looks like altcoins could really start to move. So the likes of Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, all these big altcoins, and of course the smaller ones, are going to start taking more dominance. Now it's not guaranteed. We could see a massive rejection. Bitcoin could start to go on a monster rally, of course, but as of now, it's looking like altcoins want to take more of the market. So definitely a good indication if you are altcoin heavy. So that'll be all for this video. Hope you got some value from that, and see you in the next one. Peace.